How are you doing today, my lazies? This segment of the What If Naruto series is going to be a very interesting one. The topic of contention will be, what if the 5 Kage summit never happened? I'll go over several different instances from the Kages just not wanting to have a summit and refusing altogether, and even Sasuke going rogue and attacking the Leaf to oppose Toby altogether. I'm excited to get into this one, so let's dive in. To start, let's say the 5 great nations denied the Raikage's request for a summit. For one, it would be a terrible move on them, as it's a literal world governing law of ceasefire that they have to follow, lest they want another world war. Many might not know, but the effects of Orochimaru's attack hurt much more than just the sand and the leaf. He also dismantled the Hidden Stone government in his attack, so there was actually a bit of a civil war due to their military might becoming an embarrassment, and he's the reason for the earlier problems in the cloud with Blue Bee, the original 8-tailed Jinchuriki, as he was the reason for the Gyuki rampage that killed the 3rd Raikage. So the Leaf was still on thin ice with the cloud. And with the stone, they truly had only relied on numbers, so their true might wasn't really that significant. Hence why they used the Akatsuki more than anyone else, and were still low-key using them as they had access to some of Orochimaru's research, as seen in Boruto with the Mitsuki retrieval arc, and even the forbidden jutsu Deidara had access to for his mouth hands, allegedly. The only military that the Cloud could potentially rely on would be the Hidden Mist, and they're the second weakest economically and militarily. The 7 Swordsmen, their most effective and efficient force, doesn't even exist anymore. The Hunter Nin have been disbanded due to Pain wiping them out just to get Utakata, the 6-tails. And they wiped out every clan that had Kage Genkai on their continent, save for Mei, who was one of the only ones left with Kage Genkai. So they're in no position to go to another world war. The Sand is the worst economically and has borderline almost been kicked out of the 5 great nations multiple times over the years. So they have to follow whatever the Leaf does, and the Leaf would be in opposition with the Cloud due to Sasuke. A refusal to go to the summit would only make it harder to advocate that the Leaf take out their own rogue ninja to avoid an international conflict. Tsunade being in a coma, the Leaf getting wiped out by Pain, and the war over who to choose as the next Hokage between Naruto, Kakashi, and Danzo, considering what Naruto did to save the village, and the fact that he's a Jinchuriki, would be too many incidents to juggle at once while trying to prepare for another major conflict after barely surviving Pain. If any of the other villages, other than the Sand, were to get wind of how weak the Leaf was at that time, not even the aid of the Sand would be enough, and it would be not only a 3v2 as far as the biggest nations, but the smaller nations weren't friends with the Leaf either. So the Leaf would have finally been wiped out from existence if they refused the summit, along with the Sand if they don't end up opposing Gaara to join the other side. The Mist and Stone definitely would have aided the Cloud, as they all opposed the Leaf. And then, if they still wanted to escalate after beating them, then the Cloud would be the last of the 5 great nations, and it's not even funny. At the time of the summit, even without Killer Bee, the Cloud was the absolute strongest nation in the world. The Stone would be the only ones that could maybe contend, and that's only because they care more about quantity over quality. But without Datara or Gari to aid them, they'd be at a massive disadvantage. Unless Naruto finds a way to control Kurama in time, the Cloud takes over the world, and Killer Bee is still alive. The other big issue is the fact that Team Taka and the Akatsuki were working together, so they could have and would have taken advantage of the war to take control of the Hidden Cloud and the world with no one able to stop them. Obito, Kisame, EMS Sasuke, Team Taka, and Orochimaru's experiments would have been too much for everyone to handle. Obito alone was too powerful for them and was finding the Rinnegan to control the Jinchuriki, so that the world war would have been detrimental for the entire world, since they could literally take over right after the Cloud believed that they had won and are now too weak to fight back. I see why Obito was trying to crash the summit before declaring war. Couple on the fact that Kabuto is the wild card and can change the tide of the war completely depending on whose side he decided to join, would be the icing on the cake. Kabuto is a literal one-man army with the ability to summon multiple one-man armies. So him taking the side of the Leaf so he can capture Sasuke is actually a possibility. And Obito wouldn't have a way to stop him until he summoned Madara. And that's only if Kabuto even decides to summon him, since it might not be necessary considering he'd have tanks like Sage Mode, Naruto, Kakashi, 8-Gate Guy, Shikamaru, and Danzo on his side, along with the Foundation, since they'd be forced to defend the Leaf if they don't defect to the other side. That's truly the only way the Leaf survives the war, because if Kabuto chooses the other side, then Obito wins and takes over the world like he almost did anyway. Crazy how Kabuto is a deciding factor, but he's truly the most powerful character other than, the god-powered shinobi. Even Tobi and Biju don't compare to how dangerous Kabuto was in the war. He was fighting 80,000 trained ninjas and winning so bad that they had to call Naruto and B to the field just to change things around. Even Itachi wasn't a threat if Sasuke wasn't there to distract him long enough for the Izanami to kick in. Now, on to a better situation that isn't complexly chaotic. Let's say Sasuke went to the Leaf instead of going after Killer Bee. Even with Obito there, I don't think this team would reach their goal at all. Danzo was the target, but Sasuke also just saw red and wanted everything gone, yet if he arrived, how would Sasuke actually react? Would he be more pissed that someone already did what he couldn't? Or would he sympathize with the Leaf now and only want to kill Danzo? The absolute biggest threats to Sasuke's plan were the facts that there's no cover for them to sneak into the village now, so they'd be significantly more exposed. If the Hyuga or the Aburame catch them, they're all dead. Sagemo, Naruto, Kakashi, and Guy are still in the village amongst other heavy hitters to protect Danzo should he ask. And the Foundation, with only 2 of its top members, actually impressed Tobi, let alone almost damage him. If that was what they could do without prep, imagine fighting on their home turf with more people near the level of Torne and Fu. The Leaf rookies had already agreed, except Naruto, that if they see Sasuke, it's on sight. So if any of them would have caught him, he'd have to face all of them, and even as powerful as he was at the time, he stood 0 chance against all of the rookie squad together. Excluding Naruto, you have Neji and Hinata, who are Hyuga and can counter Amaterasu. Shino, who's an Aburame that can literally counter every ability Sasuke and his squad has. Rock Lee, who's too fast and powerful for Sasuke to fight alone, let alone in a team. And Sai, who had to hold back on Sasuke due to Naruto, but won't have the same sentiment this time. You're probably thinking, if you're just a casual that doesn't actually pay attention to the series, what the hell is Sai gonna do against Sasuke when Sasuke pretty much no-diffed him in their encounter? And to counter that, while yes, Sasuke is stronger than Sai, it's not to that exaggerated of a degree, as again, Sai went to capture, not kill, and even Sasuke was like... Plus, Sai has that sealing jutsu, and wouldn't be limited to the drawings he had on his espionage mission. And he has backup now. Now, let's look at two other scenarios with this same situation. Let's say the Rookie 12 were the only ones to find Sasuke and his team, but they actually survive? This is assuming help doesn't come or only the teachers come to aid and not the entire village. Just to give this team a bit more leeway. Lee and Neji have shown that they can contend with Kisame, albeit about 30% in their base forms. So if they team up, they'd be able to beat or stalemate him depending on how you want to do scaling for those three. Team Taka stands no chance against anyone from the rookie squad 1v1. Not even Jugo. So they'd be an easy squad wipe. I mean, unless they're going against like Tenten, Ino, maybe Sakura. Their only issue at all in this fight is truly Toby, since none of them know his secret or how to exploit it. Naruto would be the only danger to him, since he can make so many clones and finally learn to use their experience. Plus, Senjutsu extends his attacks and can't be tracked by Sharingan or Rinnegan, as seen in multiple instances of people with Sharingan and Rinnegan not being able to sense or see nature energy. Hell, Madara didn't even know it existed until he ate a piece of his husband and sewed it onto his body like a crazed stalker. Assuming no one comes to aid them, I can actually see this going one of two ways. Toby carries and captures Naruto, or they all tie. If Kamui wasn't an issue, the rookies would actually win here, but even with a Shikamaru and Naruto tag team against Obito to figure out his ability, I can't see them just outright winning. At most, they'd stalemate. That's also assuming Naruto isn't selfish and goes after Sasuke himself, leaving everyone else to have to deal with Obito again. Shino did show that he was a danger to Obito, as most Aburame are to Uchiha, but unless he uses Torone's bugs in the fight, he doesn't stand a chance of countering Kamui fully. It's really a nail-biter of a battle when you really think about it. And if we add the teachers as backup, then the Leaf squad wipes completely, as Guy and Kakashi are the only people in the series that have consistently countered Kamui, with Guy being significantly more impressive, as he's literally caught Obito off guard so many times that he actually could have beat him in base, whereas Kakashi needed to figure out that their jutsu was linked first. Yamato would be a great addition, as he can suppress the entire squad until Sasuke uses his lightning. Odds are not in their favor at all. Now, another cool scenario to think about is, what if they perfectly infiltrate and slip past everyone in the Leaf because plot be armoring, and they find the Foundation and Danzo personally? Could they actually take on the entire Foundation? Well, if this were a consistent and leveled fight, Danzo and Obito would be fighting with Kodo Amatsukami and Obito's insane genjutsu prowess that no one ever talks about, to see who could control who first. Since Obito didn't know that Danzo had Shisui's eye, it's actually a possibility that he could have gotten caught in it since he didn't get to see what it does. On the other hand, Obito put a perfect Jinchuriki Kage in a genjutsu for at least a decade, and no one ever knew until he revealed it to Kisame. So I can see him being powerful enough to actually fully counter even the other eye of Kodo Matsukami that Itachi had. Itachi always hinted that if you had a Mangekyo, you could counter all Mangekyo genjutsu anyway. So it's really a toss-up as to who gets who here. Knowing how the plot was going though, we have Sasuke versus Danzo, with Danzo using everyone as a human shield and having Aburame on his payroll that are almost as OP as Shino and Torine, just with better skills altogether. Torine is the second person in the series to ever touch Toby through his Kamui, and that's no minor feat. Coupled on the fact that Fu never actually got to use his ability with his mind transfer dolls, and now they're not only prepared and in their own terrain, but now they have a ton of backup. Even as powerful as Obito is, a squad of A to S rank ninjas with special abilities that bypass durability and speed in most instances would not be a fight he could win at that time. Kisame, Team Taka, and Sasuke wouldn't even be able to fight most of the specialty ninja 1v1, let alone together. Remember, again, that Sai has a sealing jutsu. He can toss them in if he really wants to. Even though we don't know all of the Foundation skills, they were a literal Akatsuki counter unit created by Danzo after the Leaf stopped using the Akatsuki aid. So these aren't just scrubs that you see in the Anbu that get one-tapped like Naruto clones. These are the actual elites. And now, let's address the most special condition for this entire thing, since it needs to be mentioned before someone thinks I'm underestimating the Taka Akatsuki team up. Let's assume Obito came with full force, got his Rinnegan, brought the BG and the Geto statue, really went all out for his attack. I still think they'd have more of a chance of losing for multiple different reasons. Kakashi was able to stop multiple Jinchuriki on his own and is compared to, and obviously surpassed, Tsunade and Base Jiraiya by this time. That's not even up for debate, as they make that almost painfully clear. No pun intended. Shikaku, Shikamaru's father, is the top Jonin under Kakashi, and they have the full might of the Ino Shikacho formation to stop the other Biju if needed, especially with Choji and Choza being able to contend with the Geto statue while it's powered by Biju. Guy in Base was able to trip up the strongest version of Obito before he became a Jinchuriki, and his 8th gate stopped even Six Path's Madara from using Kamui. So once Obito is taken out, that's GG for everyone else. Hell, 8th gate Guy can quite literally squad wipe this entire team, including the Biju and Geto statue, or Jubito if he really wanted to. They really just don't stand a chance. I hope this was a fun topic to ponder and keeps you intrigued for more what ifs. I tried not to go into a deep dive story warp, since that would, again, be me just creating a whole fanfic, and that takes too long. If you want a fanfic sequel for the Naruto series that is better than what we got in Boruto, check out my story, BG Hollow, on Archive of Our Own. I dive deep into the nuances we didn't get expanded in the series, while also keeping relevance for the legacy characters and building on the world of Naruto like ever before. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, stay lazy.